Hello everyone, welcome to the India AI Impact Summit's coverage on economic times, and today I have with myself a very special guest. I am talking with Mr. Gautam Aggarwal, President, India and South Asia, Mastercard. Mr. Gautam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having a conversation today. First and foremost, how do you like the energy?
Exciting, man. This is the first one, I guess, in India. People say it's the largest in the world. Really exciting. I have not been to the Mandapam for an event before. So this is my first time. I used to come here as a kid when the Pragati Maidan was there. So very excited.
Absolutely. It was unlocking a lot of memories for us.
Absolutely.
So we have to first and foremost address the fact that Mastercard has been in business for decades now. And we have also seen that Mastercard has evolved with trends over time. In the last 5 years, the digital payment landscape in India has really exploded. How do you see this change in Mastercard's legacy and how your strategy has changed over time?
Now, see, we've been around, I think globally, we've been around 55 plus years, of which in India alone, we've been around for about 40 odd years, I want to say. And in many ways, I say that I credit ourselves as one of the first global fintechs, right? The word fintech was not probably invented by us, but we are the first global fintech in that sense, amongst the first. We're also, I would say, amongst the first global platforms. People don't think of us when they think of a global platform. We operate in 210 countries. The beauty of the business that we are in, imagine you take out a Mastercard from your pocket issued by a bank here in India, and you go to Papua New Guinea, as an example, and you can actually tap or dip your card there and actually be able to pay for stuff, right? We do this in 210 countries. That kind of scale, I don't think any other technology company has the way we have it. Now, what we see with that in India, no doubt, in India, till about the COVID happened or before demonetization happened, probably 3 or 4% of consumer payments was happening on cards, on digital. So what India has gone through in the last 7-8 years with all the innovation that has happened in India, and no shame in saying the innovation that has come from India, from likes of NPC and others, has really helped prop up the understanding of digital payments within the country. And it has also made us, prop up the way the products that we bring in. So our strategy in India is very clear. When we were here 40, 45 years ago, typically an affluent person wanted a card, right? It was a affluent person wanted a card. That game has to change. India is a country of 1.5 billion people, almost 100 million, 1 billion bank accounts, and all of them have some sort of a card, UPI transaction. These are all people transacting. My latest numbers I've seen about 700 million people in India, or rather 700 million accounts in India are digitally active. And, credit cards is only about 100 million out of that 700. So our strategy is very simple. How do we go deep in India, right? We can't just be focusing on affluent and semi-affluent, which is where our sweet spot was until recently. Our sweet spot now has to shift towards, we like to call the Bharat of India. So, for us, that's the only shift in strategy. How do we go deep?
Absolutely. Now, of course, as you mentioned that tokenization and everything also has been involved in the spectrum when it comes down to digital payments. And Mastercard has been on the forefront. What were certain challenges, if you can run us through them, when you were making sure that OTPs and other sorts of verifications are ensured over time, and also that the consumers are ready to adopt to them?
See, firstly, one has to give credit to what has happened in India. India is the world's only country that is almost 100% tokenized transaction when it comes to card not present. So when you do a non-physical card transaction, 100% of those transactions are today tokenized. India close to 100%. Because of an ask that the RBI had of the ecosystem, and we all went around that ask of RBI and said, let's make it happen, right? And that is the entire ecosystem, whether it's card networks, issuers, merchants, PAPGs, consumers, all of us made sure that, we actually had 100% tokenization. So kudos to the country, kudos to the regulator for actually forcing the industry to do that. I think that is the best thing that could have happened to this. I will also tell you a little secret there, because what we've done with that, because we've achieved near 100% tokenization in India, on card not present, Mastercard internally has taken this global, where we've declared that by 2030, all Mastercard transactions globally will be fully tokenized, right? So that is almost an innovation that India has given to the world, And when I say innovation, I mean, they've said this has to operate at scale. I keep saying this, I've been saying this repeatedly, at this event. India is not necessarily just innovating new ideas or new workflows. We are doing that. But we're also taking stuff that is done well in other parts of the world, but bringing it to scale, right? It's not like real-time payments was invented in India, but UPI made real-time payments happen at scale in India, right? It's not like tokenization was invented in India. It was invented way before, Mastercard played a role around tokenization many, many years ago, but India made sure that it was adopted at scale. So I think where we are really focused on today is how do we take some of our existing technologies that are probably not at scale globally and take them to scale. Passkey is a great example that we announced recently. And the next thing we are trying to do is how do we actually adopt and build new technologies that are relevant to the Indian market. And in that, the challenges that we faced, candidly speaking, OTPs is things of the past, right? It's a very cumbersome process. I used to live on the 42nd floor in a building in Bombay until recently, and half of the time my phone network wouldn't work. Anytime I tried to order food late night, I would be waiting for that OTP to come. The OTP wouldn't come. I'll be waiting. Passkey is a way to go away from that problem, right? So the challenge we faced was the market had to, the regulator had to get comfortable that, listen, OTPs is a thing of the past. We have to move to a new, and thanks to RBI, they came up with this alternate authentication framework, which basically was the foundation of passkeys, and they basically allowed us to do that. And then, of course, whether it's PAs, whether it's merchants, whether it's issuers, that to all be ready to be that. We are still not there, right? Passkeys is still something that is not fully adopted. It's not there at all merchant sites. I think the challenge that we have is the challenge of pace. I think we have to put in the list of priority for all the top merchants, right? I'm not going to name anybody, and the top issuers, to make sure that they push for passkeys in a way that actually there is no OTP left in the system. To me, the only challenge I feel in India is speed sometimes of accepting these things takes time, right? But once we do it, we achieve the scale that we do, it's unmatchable.
Absolutely. And I think we have a lot of examples with which we can understand how Mastercard is always in excellence in execution. So that's one. Now, we also wanted to understand how fintech has been able to solve, in collaboration with AI, of course, certain problems like fraud detection and many more such issues that have been rampant in the country when it comes down to online transactions. What is the future of fintech x AI, if you have to understand in Mastercard's perspective? And what are the next 18 months looking like?
See, if I were to really talk about the AI journey in our world, I think our world, the AI journey really started 20 years ago, roughly, right? Give or take a few years. And that journey, for Mastercard primarily, was first a journey around fraud detection, fraud prevention, and making sure that we were able to handle if a fraud happened, right? Now, I don't remember exact fraud rates, but I suspect fraud rates 20 years ago were in like 5-6% of the transactions were possibly fraudulent transactions. The latest numbers there in bips, single-digit bips, right? That is because technology, both AI and non-AI technologies come about, and we are able to do real-time analysis of transactions and really figure out whether this is potentially a fraudulent transaction or and prevent it from happening, right? So that was I would say the first phase, if you will. Where we are going with that already with using AI is how do we do better segmentation? How do we do better auth rates? Today, our systems use auth rates. Auth rates probably 10 years ago were very good when it were late 80s and early 90s on card transactions. Today, we see auth rates of 99, close to 100%. Why is that? Because again, issuers and us, we have adopted technologies, AI-based technologies that basically make us more comfortable. That's saying that, this is an okay transaction to do. And then what we announced today, quite an apt place to be sitting and doing this. We've announced today our Mastercard's first authenticated agentic commerce transaction in India. What does that mean? That really means is workflows that are not automated today, that are manual today, right? You have to go to your, Vodafone website. You have to log in, put in your credentials, look for your bill, pay the bill, enter your card credential details, and then submit. And then you go to another page, you go another app where you go shop for your food items. All of this is a bit of a cumbersome process. You have like, I don't know how many apps you have, but I have probably 500 apps on my phone, right, for different needs. Now, with the use of Chat GPT and AI, where all of these things are getting embedded, I think India is still a bit ways to go, where a lot of merchants need to embed themselves in these APIs. They have to make themselves available in these APIs. But we already did a demo today with both Zepto and with Vodafone, and we're going to do one with Swiggy also soon. Where essentially what we're saying is, now through this chat interface, through a conversational ability, you can actually do a lot of your transactions that are manual, right? And in one transaction, and you don't have to enter your credentials because you're building trust. We're using agents that are actually creating trust in the ecosystem, and these are trusted agents that can do things on your behalf, right? Whether it is intent APIs, whether it is payment APIs, all of that is happening. So I think it is a matter of time. A lot of stuff that we are probably doing manually today, you and I are doing manually today, will become sort of automated.
Yeah. People understand the buyer, which is us, technically, and that is how it will help. For that matter, I would like to tell all the viewers that I have seen the demo, and I've actually used it as well. I mean, when I was here, and I have to tell you, this is definitely the future, and Mastercard is enabling that. So congratulations to you on that. Now, my final question. Now, first, we have seen about 7,000 plus startups that we have in India when it comes to fintech, and this is only going to grow. This number is only going to grow higher, hopefully. How do you see Mastercard in this ecosystem playing? Do you see it as an enabler, or are you still trying to figure out the rails of the system right now?
See, it's a little bit of both. When I say, India, I don't know what the number is, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000, whatever startups. We see our role is a twofold role. We are an innovator ourselves, global innovator. A lot of the innovation that we're doing globally, we're actually doing in India first, right? We're launching it in India first. Passkey is an example of that. And we will continue to do so. We will continue to build, products and do innovation that is global in nature. And if it makes sense to make it available in India, we'll make it available in India. When it comes to working with the Indian sort of startup ecosystem, very few people know that we are actually being an investor in the Indian, ecosystem as well, startup ecosystem. Razorpay is one of our pride investments that we did almost 10, 12 years ago. And look where they are today. And then there is, others, Sciency and others that, have been part of our journey. So we will continuously look at startups in a way where there are some startups that we will feel there is a need for us to invest in. And these are startups that may not necessarily have a direct line of business with us, but we think there is value in being, related to them. There will be investments that we may not make in startups, but we might just partner with them. Right? We might do both in some cases, and in some cases we might want to buy. There are companies that we have looked at in the past that we want to buy. So I think we will continue to engage with the startup community in India that we have engaged in the past. The only thing is our themes might change. Our themes were around payments in the past, around data analytics in the past. Maybe as AI takes its strides and advances in this country, we will probably start seeing shifts where we are investing, and we might end up either buying or investing or partnering with companies that are calling themselves as AI companies.
Absolutely. And I have to say that adoption, execution, and customer first has always been a philosophy for Mastercard. So we are only hoping for a golden future ahead. Thank you so much for your conversation today. And we look forward to it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, everyone. And stay tuned to Economics Time for more AI Summit content.